Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Please, there are plenty of seats here. If anyone would like to fill in, please come on in. There's plenty of seats. I see a lot of people standing in the back. You're more than welcome to come on in and sit down. This is a casual affair. Feel free to come and go, grab some pizza. There's a bar back there in the corner, a City Club edition this year. So get comfortable. Thank you. Thanks for everybody for your attention. I'm Dan Gibbons from the City Club of Chicago. It's an honor to be here at McCormick Place. And our hostess of the mostest is here to welcome us. She's the CEO of MPEA, the Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority, also in McCormick Place. She's been an incredible City Club member and a friend of ours and a regular speaker and attendee at our events, and just a lovely co-host for today's event. So please welcome Larita Clark.
Sure. Thank you, Dan. Well, hello, everyone. Isn't this exciting? Well, Dan just introduced me, Larita Clark, MPEA, CEO of MPEA, Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority, which owns McCormick Place, the Marriott Marquis Chicago, the Hyatt Regency McCormick Place, and the Wintrust Arena. MPEA is a municipal corporation, in case you were wondering what type of organization we are. So before I dive into our panel discussion, I want to extend my sincere thanks to the people who made this event possible today. To our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton. Hosting you is always an honor, and I thank you for joining us. And then to Jennifer Moran, I'm not sure where Jennifer is. There she is, the president of the Chicago Automobile Trade Association. And then Dan Gibbons, who you just saw, who is the CEO of City Club Chicago. And then to all of those that helped make this event possible, thank you for choosing McCormick Place to host this event. I also want to welcome and thank, I just met of Cars.com. I see him over there, Alex Vetter, who will be part of the panel today. I look forward to hearing what you have to say during the discussion, and I'm sure it will be an engaging and important panel discussion. Did you know that you are currently sitting in North America's largest convention center with 2.6 million square feet of exhibition space? McCormick Place is honored to bring millions of people representing countless communities together for hundreds of events every year. We hold events like the Auto Show, which is a big business for Chicago. The campus' total economic impact on the region is more than $2 billion each year. And our operations generate almost $200 million in city and state tax revenue, directly contributing to the betterment of our neighbors. Our campus is among the region's largest economic drivers, thanks to all of the event planners who trust us to organize and host unforgettable conventions, expositions, concerts, sports, tournaments, corporate meetings, and more. So as I stand here today, I cannot help but reflect on the role that the Chicago Auto Show has in helping us and our campus play such a strong part in the regional economy. McCormick Place has been honored to host the Chicago Auto Show for over 50 years. Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. We always look forward to seeing the latest innovations in the automobile industry at this world-renowned event. Chicago may not be known as the Motor City, but you would never know it when you attend the Chicago Auto Show. It is one of the largest auto shows in North America. So through your hard work and attendance, all of you here today have made this distinction a reality. The auto show uses more than 1 million square feet of exhibition space. Now keep in mind that I said we have 2.6 million. So that's quite a bit of our 2.6 million square feet. This show requires months of planning by Jennifer and her team every year. In addition to the intense planning, building the auto show requires precise and coordinated work by teams of carpenters, electricians, riggers, decorators, and many other skilled labor professionals. The process of moving in for any show is extremely complicated, but even more so when you are building an off road track for people to drive on. The 4,000 people who work on our campus are some of the best in the business. The auto show is also special because it is a show that brings our community to McCormick Place and builds up its own community year after year. It is one of the few shows where we routinely see multiple generations of families returning together. And all of those people who helped build the tracks and the booths, well, they have an opportunity to return to McCormick Place as members of the public to show their children and grandchildren what they do for work. McCormick Place is many things to many people. In economic terms, it is a workplace, it is a gathering place, it is a source of tax revenue to improve the city and state, but it is also a place of immense emotional meaning for many people. It is a place you grew up at, attending your favorite show year after year. Perhaps you got to sit in your favorite dream car. You've had an opportunity to take a photo with your favorite celebrity. It is a place where countless workers have received achievement awards, where generations of students have crossed the graduation stage. For all of us at MPEA, it is all of the above. Our mission is to attract trade shows, conventions, meetings, expositions, and public events to strengthen the economy of Illinois and the region at large. What that ultimately means is that our mission is to bring people together and give them unforgettable experiences. We take our mission very seriously, and on behalf of the teams at McCormick Place and MPEA, I am honored to welcome you here today for this panel discussion and over the next couple of weeks for what I know will be another unforgettable edition of the Auto Show. So please enjoy and make some memories.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larita, and thank you to your team of the 4,000 people. And she's a wonderful leader, a wonderful civic leader in Chicago, but of course does represent all the men and women here that you see putting this incredible show on. Thank you for welcoming us. Thank you for having us and for being such a good friend of City Club. We have a couple other good friends of City Club here. I'd like to briefly mention on behalf of, so we do have two of our board members. Our chairwoman, Jackie Robinson-Ivy, is here. Jackie, thank you for being here. Chairwoman of the City Club of Chicago, and of course, our board member, Omar Dagestani. Omar is right over here. And a little special thanks to Omar, because this was Omar's idea to pull some of this together and make something happen here, like I said, for the first time. So it's extra special for us, and it's an extra special event when families are here. I will mention that my parents, our Tom and Kathy are here, but and Uncle are here. It's a good program when you've got your families coming out, right? But I want to mention this guy right here, Eddie Dagestani, is really the driver behind all of this. He came. This is Omar's son, Eddie. He came last year. Stand up, give us a wave, Eddie. And he said to his dad, "I want to get back there at the auto show to do something neat with some, and meet some interesting people." And it's what brought us all back here together. And Omar's wife, Kathleen, of course. Thank you all. We've got Choose Chicago here, great partners with us. Rich Gamble and Glenn Eden from Choose Chicago, and great sponsors for us. And we're really honored to have another great friend of the City Club with us today. She was actually with us last week and introduced the president of the University of Illinois system at City Club. She is a big fan of the auto industry and understands how much it means to Illinois' economy. She and Governor Pritzker have invested an awful lot in the industry and the electric vehicle, especially lately, part of the industry, and technology to kind of advance Illinois in the auto industry. She's a great leader at a time when we need it most, for our wonderful state of Illinois. Great friend of mine in front of the City Club. Please join me in welcoming our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton. Thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Dan, for that warm introduction. It was a little quiet, so who's excited for the 2025 Chicago Auto Show? Okay, great to see that. And thank you to everyone who came together for this conversation, our incredible panelists whom you'll hear from soon, my fellow elected officials and members of the General Assembly who may be here, and everyone who touches the auto community. And of course, thank you to Dan Gibbons and everyone from the City Club of Chicago for hosting, along with Jennifer Moran and the Chicago Automobile Trade Association, Loretta Clark and MPEA. And I certainly want to give a warm note of appreciation to all of the men and women of organized labor who made this happen. I do also want to take just a moment to point out two Chicago businesses, and we are known for food in this city. We all know the iconic Connie's Pizza, right? Did you get your slice? Okay. But you also might have noted when you came in, you might have met Ida Nelson, who was giving out Ida's Artisan Ice. Ida, can you just raise your hand? So Ida told me, yep, everybody got a little sample, I hope. Ida told me that she started her business, her ice cream business, and I'm a fan of ice cream. She started it during COVID when she lost her job. She started it in her home in North Lawndale, and it is now the only ice cream business in North Lawndale's community on the west side of Chicago, in North Lawndale. And just so you know, she does corporate catering. And there are people here who may need to know that. So Ida, thank you for sharing your gift with us today. The Pritzker-Stratton administration is a proud vocal champion for Illinois' auto industry. Every day, Illinois is attracting innovative minds from every industry because we can support bold dreams. We offer a solid foundation on which to build and grow, and the auto industry is a perfect example. This sector is responsible for contributing over 256,000 jobs across the state. In 2022 alone, Illinois recorded over $41 billion in car sales, and the auto industry contributed more than $2.3 billion in state tax revenue. We are also establishing and maintaining a leadership position in the clean energy space by recently welcoming a new wave of electric vehicles and parts manufacturers, Rivian in Normal, TCCI in Decatur, and Goshen in Manteno. Not only are these businesses supporting the global shift toward clean energy practices, but their decision to plant roots in Illinois means our economy and job market will benefit directly in the process. As we discuss the future of Illinois' auto growth, it's essential to the success of our state and this sector that we carry an awareness about equity within the workforce. If we even inadvertently box people out of a seat at the table, we lose the potential gift of their innovations. The auto industry has proven time and time again that there is space for all. As technologies advance, we will need sharp minds ready to help guide us forward. And luckily, the stage is already set to support healthy workforce development right here in Illinois. Because of our state's uniquely central position, we are able to attract global businesses with our world-class infrastructure, workforce, and leadership in almost every industry imaginable. Did you know that Illinois is considered the best point of entry into the North American market? Well, if you're in this room, you certainly know that already. And by the way, so do our trading partners in Canada and Mexico. Add that we have the business environment, resources, and the quality of life to attract top businesses, and we have a recipe for success. Our auto industry is undeniably a part of how we are strengthening Illinois' position on the global stage. And it's only fair that your leaders continue to believe in and invest in the hardworking families and communities that have made us successful. That's why we continue to make capital investments through the Rebuild Illinois program to strengthen our economy, including millions of dollars towards site development, public infrastructure, and manufacturing training academies. I'm proud to say that this administration values your contributions to the state we share, and we will continue to work in partnership by your side. And though the world around us may feel uncertain, I'm confident in the role Illinois' auto industry will play in our future. Thank you so much. And with that, let's pass it over to the experts and get this panel started. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Stratton. You've got a busy week, so we appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us to welcome us here. You heard the numbers, you heard the stats. There are so many reasons, or billions of reasons, that we're here talking about this today. I thought I'd give it 1 minute about City Club for those of you who are new to why we're here and why City Club is bringing you all together. As I introduced our board, what we do is pull together philanthropic, business, government, elected officials, but leaders from all of those. We also try to find some emerging leaders and help lift them up in small businesses like those that are mentioned. We have, of course, a large business contingent, and we have sponsors like Stiefel is a sponsor for today's event, as is Hawthorne Strategy Group, and Choose Chicago, of course, which I mentioned earlier. But that's who we pull together, and we do that so that all of these folks can understand what each other's priorities and issues are, and how we can overcome them and move Chicago forward, move Illinois forward. It's really neat to be working alongside with the auto dealers, because they are who put this show on. And I'm going to introduce Jennifer in just a moment. But the Chicago Auto Trade Association, they represent every one of those jobs that was just mentioned, especially in the selling industry. And there's so much that means to the city and to the state. And there's so many different regulatory needs and relationships. They're a very philanthropic community as well. I think we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I want to welcome them sort of into this City Club family, because there's a lot more that I think we can all do together as we overcome all these crazy challenges of our current day, and do our best to move Chicago and Illinois forward. So thank you for giving me that moment to explain what City Club does. We are a membership-based organization. I hope you'll all become members if you're not. I see so many members in the room. We have lots of great events. Most of them are downtown, and then we like to get off campus, as we call it, every now and then, like tonight or today. So with that, thank you again for your attention. We do have pizza from Connie's, as the Lieutenant Governor mentioned. We have Ida's ice cream back there. Feel free, and there's a bar with all sorts of drinks, so feel free. We're going to have a discussion now and talk about some of the trends, some of the issues, and I'm really honored to be joined today by two folks that I'll ask to come on up and join me on the stage. So Jennifer Moran is the general manager of the auto show. She's also the president of the Chicago Automotive Trade Association, which, as I said, puts on the show, and we'll get into exactly what that means. Please welcome Jennifer Moran. She's our co-host for today. I'd also like to welcome Alex Vetter. Alex is the CEO of Cars.com. You've probably heard of that, right? Alex has all sorts of incredible insights into the industry that's constantly evolving, and I'm looking forward to asking a couple questions and getting the conversation going. I also like to include questions from the audience. So if you do have a specific question, it is casual enough. Maybe write it down, or Jackie's up here if you want to pass it down, and we'll incorporate it into the conversation. But there's plenty to talk about. And as soon as we do wrap the conversation, Jennifer has invited us all to the auto show. As you can see, the cast of thousands is not here yet. So you've got some exclusive access to the auto show. We're going to wrap just in about 25 minutes or so, and then you'll be able to check out the amazing show. So I'm going to sit down with these incredible folks and get this conversation going. Thanks for being here. I'm going to say welcome, but I'm kind of on your turf.
Well, thanks for being here, Dan, and thanks to the whole City Club of Chicago for being here, Alex. Appreciate you joining me on stage. This really partnership came together rather quickly. I think it started as a conversation a year ago at the show, and had subsequent conversations. And about 2 weeks ago, we said, what could we do together? Maybe there's an event night we could come speak with, and then this idea just kind of came up. So I give you your team, Dan, and a lot of kudos. You pulled together an amazing event rather quickly.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for hearing our crazy ideas, and I think this will be the start of much more to come, right? And of course, Alex, we hope that you'll come back. We love. You can't call Cars.com an emerging business anymore, right? But we love innovation. We love technology. We love when you can totally, I don't want to say disrupt, but improve, processes and industries, which is what you're really doing with Cars.com. Could you just say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself in Cars.com?
Sure.
Start us off.
First of all, thank you for having me, and great to see everybody here. For those that don't know, Cars.com is a Chicago-born, reared, and raised company. We're 25 years here in the city of Chicago. We've got about just under 2,000 employees nationwide, but our humble beginnings began here in Chicago, and it's been great that we've been partnerships here with the Chicago Auto Show for a number of years. And you may ask, well, why would a website company want to be a part of such a big physical event?
Wait, that was my first question.
Well, I knew it. And look, this is a complicated transaction in most people's lives. And most consumers are doing several hours of research online prior to showing up at a physical showroom on behalf of all our dealer customers who are here. And we use our platform to drive traffic to our dealer partners who are the best at helping people navigate all these choices that you'll see on the floor and guide shoppers into the car that's right for them. And so it's been a great partnership for us. We're proud to be a part of it. And I can't wait to go see all the products here on the show floor.
Great. So this show is so hugely important to Chicago. I live a block away. I recognize some neighbors here. We see all the activity. We see the action. You heard about some numbers from Lieutenant Governor and from, of course, Loretta and all the people that are employed by even just the show alone. Obviously, McCormick Place and all the shows that come and go. There's so much there. Choose Chicago knows all about it. But let's talk for a couple more minutes about the auto show. You said it's 50th year, 50 some years here, right? Why is it so much a fabric, a part of the fabric of this city? And what's the importance of having this incredible show on the floor?
Right. Well, Dan, you hit on it. It's really the fabric of the city and the state, really. But we're celebrating this year 117th edition of the Chicago Auto Show. So while we've been at this great facility for 50 of them, thank you to Loretta for hosting us every year, it really has become a great tradition for many. And you mentioned this briefly earlier, but the show is actually put on by new car dealers. And I am lucky enough, I represent 400 of them in Chicagoland area and a board of 12.
Could you actually maybe ask them to raise their hand or mention? I have a number of them are here.
I would love to. So our Chicago Auto Show chairwoman, Kelly Webb Roberts, if you could raise your hand. This is fantastic. It's our first time we've had a female chairwoman of our auto show since its inception. So big deal. Kelly is brilliant, so we're very fortunate to have her at the helm. Our CATA chairman of the board, Jason Roberts. You can wave hello. Ryan Kelly, our vice chair. Steve Filipos, our secretary and treasurer. And the rest of our board as well. So I want to give a big shout out to them. They really govern our association. They're really the fabric of our communities. You mentioned earlier, not only just the Chicago Auto Show, but they put on the First Look for Charity Black Tie Gala, which is, we like to call a small party of 10,000 of our closest friends that's held tomorrow evening before the Chicago Auto Show opens to the public. And that event, since its inception, has raised more than $63 million for local organizations right here in our backyard.
Awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. Well, so many reasons, like I said, that we're all here. Alex, you obviously see value in this partnership, right? And your business is growing. What is happening in your business? What's the latest? You know, I 25 years. I didn't realize you're 25 years now. What's the latest? What are you seeing? What's next in, like I said, these constantly evolving processes of how cars are purchased? Of course, you get into so much more, how they're made, how the supply chain, all that. But I think with this crowd, how they're purchased here across the country.
So this show is a big opportunity for my team who's here in the crowd, our Cars.com editorial team. They can touch a lot of product in a very short period of time and cover a lot. You'll see behind there's a media war room where the team will be crushing content over the next few days, both pictures and critical review of all the new products that are here to help, educate people beyond Chicagoland as to what's coming to the market as people are beginning to do their research. And so you shouldn't ask me of what's hot and what's not. They're paid professionals. They know how to really critically assess the cars and talk about what they like in the new model years and the strength of EVs and hybrids. But we'll cover all of that content here at the show, post that on Cars.com and give consumers a reason to come and do their research. So when they get to the dealerships, who are a big part of this show, like they've done their work, they're ready to drive the car and make a deal.
And speaking of deals, are there deals that get done here at the show? How does it work? You come here. I've been coming here since I was a kid. My dad, my grandpa, they used to take me all the time. You come here and you see the cars. It's fun. We're all going to be able to maybe take a ride. Does business get done here? Do cars get sold here? Where does it come out to transaction?
No, that's a great question. So what we'd like to say is there's product specialists throughout the show floor. So the manufacturers, primarily these displays are put on by the OEM, the manufacturer level. So they hire product specialists, experts to talk about the vehicles. There are some examples where there's a co-op of dealer and manufacturer. And so sometimes we do have actual salespeople on the show floor. So while sometimes deals may or may not get done on a personal level, it's a great opportunity for these companies to get leads and take it back and feed them back to the dealers. Now, that said, Toyota, we just talked about this on this last panel, just debuted a new incentive program. Actually, last year, they piloted at our show because we have that credibility of being the largest consumer show. So they wanted to pilot this incentive program at our show and literally watched it just work magic. Because of it, literally vehicles tied directly to incentives that they can go directly to the dealer and purchase. They rolled it out across the country. So it's really interesting to see the evolution and how different deals get done. But by far and wide, and I said this morning, in this digital world, there's so much content. Alex, you alluded to the content your team's, putting together, which is fantastic, but it's really where the rubber meets the road is the digital tie to this in-person experience. And there's no better buying experience whatsoever than an auto show.
And I know you said don't ask you because we would have, but you're sitting on the stage. So I'm going to ask you, what are the trends? What you deal with data, right? I mean, I imagine that's a big part of Cars.com's business. What are the trends lately that you're aware of? And who's buying? What are they buying? What's changed in recent years?
Well, the last few years have been incredible to study the trends because, as you probably are aware, there's been a major new car shortage over the last few years. And so the used car market has really been the dominant force in the auto industry. And now we're entering a year where finally the manufacturers have building back up production and there's actual new supply on dealer lots. And so you're seeing used car prices are coming down. And the market is, dare I say it, starting to look like it's normalizing a bit, which would be a welcome change after the last few years of quite counterintuitive trends. But from a product quality standpoint, affordability is a big issue. With rising inflation, consumers are concerned about the cost of ownership. to all our dealer friends in the room, I can tell you January traffic numbers look very strong. I think people are a little hesitant to pull the trigger right away, but they're absolutely out there shopping, looking, both studying, makes and models and cars. EVs, despite some of the media headwinds, there's still growing demand for EV product and hybrid products in the market. So, it's a very competitive industry, and it requires the manufacturers and the dealers to work really hard to make sure that their products are being seen and in front of consumers at every step of the way.
Could we stay on EVs for a minute? And either one of you could jump in here. The state has obviously made some major investments in EVs. Obviously, production, batteries. They're all the different feeders into the industry. But maybe you could tell us a little more about what you're hearing from the market. Like, what are EVs? I seem to see a lot more. Where are they in maybe in the show? Can you tell us that, like, maybe it's double what it used to be as far as space on the show? Where are EVs in the world right now?
Yeah, and I'm sure you have some great stats as well, but I can share from our perspective. So, for example, we have 2 electric vehicle tracks this year. That grew from 1 over the previous year. It's our 4th year producing our electric vehicle track. The first year we had just 2 brands. We had BMW on it and another one, Kia. Now we have 12. We have a dozen manufacturer. We actually had to turn one away because we didn't have enough space, believe it or not, on the track, and we wanted to make it a great experience for those involved. So we are seeing an uptick in just manufacturers putting a large emphasis, of course, in EVs. But an interesting stat is that 1 out of 4 vehicles purchased in 2025 will be EVs. So again, in 2023, that was the biggest uptick in EVs, and we expect that again in 2024, and of course beyond. So EVs are definitely on the rise, but it's not to say that the demand isn't also there for hybrids. And now with the new administration, I think we're seeing some of that ease back. So expect another uptick in hybrids and even plug-in hybrids as well. So that's certainly a trend that we're seeing in the show floor. But I will say though, with even this great technology and electrification, you have to have education. And that's what the beauty is with the auto show, is you have knowledgeable people who are at the EV track and taking consumers along in rides, talking about, the range anxiety and everything that comes about owning an EV and making sure that it's right for them. So again, that's the beauty of, getting in the vehicle, actually feeling the vehicle. And then we also have outdoor test drives on city streets where people can actually jump behind the wheel and drive the vehicle themselves. So lots of opportunities to experience them.
I'd only add, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the new product, but our EV buying guide covers a lot of the issues that most consumers are concerned about, such as range anxiety, new products, what does it take to install a home charging station? And so our EV buying guide gets tons of growing content year over year to support those trends.
Great. You mentioned the new administration, City Club, we love politics. We can go in 100 directions with this, but a couple of weeks into a new Trump administration, a second Trump administration, what loaded question? What's going on? What is happening? Where do you see changes coming? And how is your industry at? And I'll ask you, Jen, and both of you maybe to answer. But to start with you, Jen, where do you see this new administration affecting your business?
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to it, but I think with this new administration, they're definitely pulling back on what the Biden administration put forth in terms of the quickness that electrification would be here. The reality is the infrastructure is just not there. And it's not necessarily here because we live in a big city like Chicago, but it's across the country. South Dakota, for example, just put in their first public charging unit. So if you're thinking about that, what that means for you, if you're taking a road trip across the country with your family, it's just across the country, it's just not there. So the reality is, I think, people want to be familiar with whatever vehicle it is that they're purchasing. And hybrid is a great way to start. And our dealers always say this: we'll sell what the market demands. And for a while there, they just weren't selling EVs. So I think that at least from my perspective, from our dealer perspective, it's maybe a little bit refreshing to see that there's still a big push and a need for electric future. However, maybe walk, crawl, run is the better term instead of jumping right into it.
Right.
Well said.
You don't want to touch that one, do you? How about this? Tariffs. I mean, specifically, and this was actually an audience question. Will the new tariffs on China affect the costs of cars? And I don't know that either of you can necessarily answer that with the information.
I think if we've learned anything, it's hard to predict what can happen week to week. But generally, I think that we publish an American-made index every year that breaks down every car built and what percentage of that car is supplied with parts made here in America. And so you can look at our American-made index, and you'll see which automakers aren't having to worry about it and which ones are. And I know they're all working around those decisions in real time, trying to source their parts differently. I think the headline, obviously, in our last two buying guides is Tesla is the most American-made car in the United States. So at least we know there's one automaker that doesn't have to worry.
Who's that? Okay, I guess we won't go there. I think you've piqued everybody's interest in seeing everything that's on the other side of the curtain over there. So we'll head over there in just a few minutes. Jennifer, if you could talk as we kind of close out here, talk about car dealers in communities. I mean, they're such an important part of communities. I mean, I know my local dealer. Jackie's father was a car dealer. They're part of their businesses. They're philanthropists. They're part of the community. Could you dive in a little deeper on that?
Absolutely. They are truly the pillars and the backbone of their communities in which they live and do business. And I'm very fortunate, again, to work for this wonderful group of people. They're very family driven. In many cases, their family businesses pass down generations to generations. So I think that's just very unique. I don't think you see that quite as often. But they produce a lot of jobs for local people. So our car dealers produce 94,000, almost 95,000 jobs for people in Illinois. So if you think about that and the economic impact that dealers have, I mean, it's incredible. And, Lieutenant Governor mentioned earlier, but $2.9 billion in state sales tax. It's incredible. So, they should have a large voice, but they care about their communities as well. I touched briefly on First Look for Charity, our large charity event, but that's not the only thing that the dealers do year round. They're the first door that the Little League team knocks on, and, they're constantly giving just unannounced to local organizations throughout the year. We also partner with the USO. We do incredible work with the military. And again, we've raised with that $1 million, and that's all put on by the local new car dealers.
Great. And Alex, you mentioned 2,000 employees, Chicago born and bred company. Do you plan to stay here? Are you growing here? Why Chicago?
Because the company's national in scope, and we also are in Canada as well, our employee footprint has grown well beyond Chicago. But we're proud. Our headquarters is right down here across the street. And importantly, we've got, I think close to 650 dealer customers here in Chicagoland alone. So I'd echo the point made. I mean, everybody thinks about buying a car, but the reality is these are machines. And the day after you buy it, you're going to have some issues with it. And the dealer network does an incredible job, not only helping people in and out of cars, but maintaining that car and throughout the ownership experience. And so as much as people get enamored by the showroom, our model is about driving traffic to our dealer partners who know how to help consumers in that last mile. Most people don't realize that in order to sell a new car, you typically have to take a trade-in. And get somebody out of their existing car. And the dealer footprint knows how to do that extremely well. And to echo the point, they're just awesome local operators that run our communities.
Great. Well, great discussion here. I don't want to keep anybody from the pizza, the bar, and the car. Don't go to the bar and then drive the car, just the other way around. But thank you for these insights. I know we could do this for another hour. Let's do it next year. How about that?
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Larita, Jackie, everybody. Nick Vallerano's here, our general counsel. This has been great. I hope you all enjoy the show. Make sure you get your little pass here on the way out if you haven't gotten it already. And there's also parking stickers. If you did park in lot A, you can get a sticker at the desk over there. Please come back to City Club. We have lots of great programs. We have 2 coming up next week alone, and then plenty more to come, and all sorts of topics. And we also take your ideas for your topics and what you need to help move your businesses and your initiatives forward. So everyone's welcome at City Club. And thank you for joining us today at the Auto Show. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy your sneak preview.